So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second joint meeting with Rio Gringo. I'm Lucas from Rio Gringo Toastmasters, and our partner club is Petromasters, represented here by Rafael Seixas, the club president, and his fellow members from Petromasters, and we also have a few guests from other clubs. So to start off this meeting is a very special meeting. The meeting theme is Blue November. So everyone was invited to wear some blue clothing or any accessory to represent the Blue November campaign. We will talk about men's health in this during this meeting, and we have also prepared speeches from members who are in their pathways. We have two special guests who aren't Toastmasters, and they will share information and experience for specifically the men's health campaign. And as your as the president of Rio Gringo Toastmasters, I welcome you all, and I would like to quickly do a check-in to see how everyone is feeling. So this check-in is really quick. I will invite each one of you to share with the group in one word how you are feeling right now. So I would like to start inviting Rafael Seixas. How are you feeling, Rafa?
I'm feeling great.
That's good. Thank you, Rafa, for being here. Next up, Atahualpa, how are you feeling?
Excited to
That-
be here.
That's great. We are excited to have you here as well. Rubens, how are you feeling?
Anxious.
Mm, is it a good anxious or a bad anxious?
Yeah, pretty nice actually.
Okay, great. Ashley, how are you feeling? Could you put some light on your face? You're kind of dark right now. We can't see you that clearly.
I'm good.
That's great. Welcome, Ashley. It's been what, like two
No,
months? It's been a while, right? You're always welcome here. Eduardo, how are you? How are you feeling?
Great to be invited to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for your support, Eduardo. Thank you also, Ashley. How are you feeling?
Very
Hello,
good.
everybody. I am feeling curious about this special meeting.
But it's not your first time in a joint meeting, right?
No, but in a special meeting
Okay.
in Blue November, it's my
Yeah.
first time.
Okay. I hope we live up to your expectations. What
Okay.
about you, Ada? How are you feeling?
Satisfied with life.
Okay. What about you, Andrea? How are you feeling?
I'm enthusiastic about Blue November,
Great. That's
our
nice.
meeting tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing this idea and for helping us organize. Thank you, Andrea. What about you, Loildo?
Not at
How are you
all.
feeling? Welcome.
Thanks. I'm good. I'm just a little bit uptight because I'm supposed to give a speech, and I don't know you guys yet, not yet, but I'm good.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We don't bite. How about you,
But
Marcelo?
I do bite myself, so that's the problem.
Well, how about you, Marcelo? How are you feeling?
Hi guys, I'm very glad to be here and happy, and I'm curious too about this meeting as Ralph.
One word. Thank you, Marcelo. What about you, Sylvia? How are you feeling? One word.
Hey Lucas, thanks for asking. I'm also curious.
Nice. Although this campaign is about men's health, I think there will be very valuable information that men and women can go through and share with their family members and their friends. So women are always welcome in the Rio Gringo Toastmasters. Hi, Alex. How are you? How are you feeling?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Nice to see you. Hi, Tatiana. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, Lucas. I'm good, thank you. I feel happy.
Nice. Nice to hear that. I think, and Fernando, how are you? Welcome. You're on mute. Remember to turn on your microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now it's on. Thank you for inviting. I feel prevented. You will understand that better when you see my presentation.
Great. So that's officially the introduction. I pass on the mic to Rafael, who will be our Toastmasters of the evening. Thank you, Rafa. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Lucas. As we can see, there is a lot of people excited about this meeting, and I'm excited as well. Let's begin our meeting thinking, especially we men. We tend to not take care of ourselves, but let's think there is a lot of people that loves us, and we should take care of ourselves, and also about the people who we love. So let's move on to the first rule of the meeting. Eduardo Barbosa will be our timer. Eduardo, what does a timer do?
Good evening, guys. So I'm gonna be your time today, and I'll be the god of the time, and I'll punish you if you pass this set of colors. Let me, here, I find it. So I'll show you this green light when the minimal time passed, and this yellow background when it's almost over, your time is almost done. And the red one, you mustn't see this red background because the time is over, it's already passed. So you must finish your discourse, your speech, or whatever we're gonna do this meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. Let's always see the green card. Let's never see the red card. That's fine. Let's move on to our next rule of the meeting. A friend from half that we already saw in also Rio Gringo and Petromasters, Atahualpa. He will be our grammarian of the evening. Atahualpa?
I think his internet froze. I'll send him a message.
He seems freeze.
Okay. Let's wait 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it seems that Atahualpa is seeing some connection problems. Let's move on to the next role of the meeting. Rubens. Not Rubens, sorry. Not Rubens. Sylvia. She will be our A counter. Sylvia, what does an A counter do?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thanks, Rafael, for the introduction. I will be the counter today, and the purpose of my role is to count any overused word or filler sounds you may use this evening. So in the end of the meeting, I will take notes, and then I will report to you as a feedback.
Thank you, Sylvia. I think as we are non-native English speakers, the counter is a key role to us to improve our English speaking. Thank you, Silvia, for being this role. As Atahualpa is not back, I will invite Rubens. He will be our joke master of the evening. Rubens.
Well, good evening, everybody. Okay, first of all, Ralph told us this is his first meeting in Blue November. Okay, don't worry. The first Blue November meeting you will never forget. Blue November month focusing on prostate exam, and let me tell you some experiences. Entering the doctor room, I was taking out my pants and I asked the doctor, where should I put my pants? Over there, next to mine. Oh, that was definitely not the answer I was expecting. And then I told the doctor I used to be nervous about my prostate exam, but only until I started to imagine I was abducted and being probed by aliens. Wearing his gloves, the doctor said me, honestly, if there was a virtual prostate exam, don't you think I would want to be the first to know? And I just answered, the exam is doing good. A sure sign that you are getting a bad prostate exam is when you feel the doctor's hands on both of your shoulders. Okay, but now I plan my prostate exam in a practical way. I can better remember my wedding anniversary by scheduling my annual prostate exam on the same day. Boys, that's it, Blue November. Remember to be duly probed. Okay, now I return the word to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Rubens. There is a little dark jokes. Thank you so much. And now Autop is not back yet. And now we have the, okay, sorry. We have a different meeting today. We started the meeting with the table topics. And Lucas, he will be our table topic master. Lucas, back to you.
Thank you, Rafa. For those, just so that we don't miss the role of the grammarian, I hope Atahualpa can come back in. But as soon as he comes back in, his role is to keep track and monitor the good use of English during our speeches. And at the end of the meeting, he will give us a report on any mistakes we may have made, and also he will give us some remarks on the good uses of English during our speeches. And also Atahualpa has brought us a word, in the word of the day, for us to expand our vocabulary. And the word is utterly. The word utterly means completely or extremely. As in a phrase, as an example, what an utterly stupid thing to do. Okay? Each time we are all encouraged to use the word of the day, and each time someone uses the word of the day in a speech, we will give him or her feedback by thumbs up. Okay? Now, back to our table topics. I am the table topics master of this evening, and continuing with the health theme of our meeting, I decided to bring you some questions in order for us to practice some mental detox. Mental detox, because our body is so perfect, our organs are so perfect that our body is designed and programmed to do its own detox. So our liver, our kidneys, our lungs, even our brain has its own processes for doing its own detox. But our mind, actually, which is not an organ, but a product of our organ, sometimes forgets or doesn't, we haven't learned good tools to do this same detox process. So I bring you some questions, and I hope these questions can help us to have some nice reflections. So the thing here is, I will ask a question and ask some of you to give us a quick answer. A quick means an answer from 1 to 2 minutes time. So please pay attention to our timer, Eduardo, who will show us the time from 1 minute to 2 minutes with the lights he showed us before, and give us uh, uh, an inspiring answer, a creative answer to the question I make. Can I count on all of you to volunteer for the questions? I have plenty of questions for us all. Is that okay? Eduardo, please let me know once we reach our limit time for the table topics, okay? I will start off with anyone who works in a team. I think as a team, we have many obstacles. So the first question is, who in your team can you help to overcome an obstacle? How would you do that? I would like to choose Ralph. I will repeat the question. Who in your team can you help to overcome an obstacle? How would you do that? Thank you, Ralph.
Thanks for the question, Lucas. If we face a problem as a health problem, I I could help a friend of mine who works with me dealing with uh, a lot of gain of weight problem. So I could help him by talking to him and showing him new ways of facing food, and of course telling him to go to a specialist, to a doctor. And he went to a doctor and he started his diet. He used to work with me offshore in a petroleum rig, and he was like 150 kilos. And if he didn't lose like 50 kilos, he wouldn't be able to work offshore anymore. So it was a matter not only for his health, but in terms of his work as well. Otherwise, he couldn't keep working offshore because you need to be in shape for emergencies and all the stairs that you need to climb, and you really need to be in shape to work offshore. And after a while, after 6 months, he could lose the 50 kilos. So I guess the threat of losing money, of not working offshore, was his big inspiration to lose 50 kilos. And that's a really true story. Today he's less than 100 kilos, and his health is a lot better right now.
That's very nice, Ralph. Thank you for sharing. Next question. Have you ever made something with your hands as a gift for someone? Alex, would you like to answer? Have you ever made something with your hands as a gift for someone?
Thank you, Lucas, for the question. So have I made something in my life with my hand as a gift for someone? I must certainly have. I don't quite remember the last time I did so, but if I'm researching through my memories, the first gift that I made with my hand and presented to someone that came to my mind, it's quite a while ago when I was a little kid, when I was making those little pasta drawing for Mother's Day or Father's Day. So it was like a couple of decades ago, but it was a fun time as I remember. It was all I could do because as a kid you don't have any money, you don't really know exactly what your parents need. You don't, when you go on to school, you make that gift with the materials you have, and you present it to your parents for that celebration of Mother's Day or Father's Day, and it shows them that you care for them, and it creates a bond between kids and fathers uh, and parents, and it's all a big celebration. So it's a funny memories dated quite a while ago, but it's interesting how you can adapt as a kid, even without any money. You can make a gift and present it to someone, so you can make them happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I think it's really nice to make something out with your own hands. I think even as adults, it's a challenge because it's so easy to go out and buy anything online or whatever. And I think it's more heartfelt when you really put your attention, your dedication, and your talent to something you do yourself. Thank you for sharing, Alex. Next question. Have you learned something new about an animal or plant which lives near you? I would like to ask Rafa Seixas. Have you learned something new about an animal or plant which lives near you?
Thanks for your question, Lucas. I got plenty of knowledge about animals and plants that is near me because I have a little daughter. She's just she's just 1.5 year, and she loves to hear stories. And I got some books, not homemade, not handmade. I bought it at Amazon, and she likes the details of the stories. It's like when she sees a boat and she sees a seagull, she wants the explanation. How does a seagull fly? How she can't speak, but with her eyes and hands and body language, she shows me that she wants to learn from that animals and that plants. And I got some color book that has music instruments, there is plants, there is animals, and she's utterly excited about it. So I tell her some stories. Not every story is correct or true, but she likes it. Back to you, Lucas.
Thank you, Rafa. I think it's a wonderful experience as a parent to rediscover the world through our kids' eyes. It's really amazing. Thank you. The next question. Um, so, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Have you ever made up a story and told it to a child? How was the experience? I'd like to invite Tatiana Oliveira. Tati, I will repeat the question. Have you ever made up a story and told it to a child? How was the experience?
Thank you, Lucas, for your question. So I have a nephew and a niece, and every time when I go back to my city where they live, I told him some story to sleep, something like that. In general, it's a excellent experience. For example, the last weekend I was there, and my nephew saw a helicopter on the sky, in the sky, and he started asking, "Oh, what is this?" And I told him a real story about this. oh, it's a helicopter. There are some people there. They are look for us. They are looking us above, and they are travel to see the clouds. I told him a beautiful story about that helicopter. It's a very good thing to do because you can make a lot of illusions or imaginations about something. And the most interesting is the reaction of the kid. It's a very good because he believes you. He is very excited with his story. I like that. Thank you, Lucas. Back to you.
Thank you, Tatiana. It's I think that's one of the special things about telling stories, that we can let our imagination go wild, and there's no that's okay, and that's the idea. And I think children like that and stimulates them. The next question is, um, here it is. What can you do to improve the environment among your colleagues in your workplace? I would like to ask Sylvia. Sylvia, here's the question again. What can you do to improve the environment among your colleagues in your workplace?
Thanks, Lucas, for inviting me to this section. Everyone who has already worked in group or in a business corporation, I think has this issue sometimes in our lives. So it's hard, especially for me. This year was utterly stressing because of the relationship with my boss. And I think we made a good thing to improve the environment in our department, because we are only three there at this department, and if two are not getting along, we have a problem. So 2 weeks ago, I invited her to have a lunch with me. I choose a really nice restaurant and I pay the bill. And we had the opportunity to look into each other's eyes and have a frank and sincere conversation. And as of this day, we started to have a better relationship. I don't want to fool myself and think that it was the solution of our problems. Of course not, but I think it was a really good start. Back to you, Lucas.
Thank you for sharing, Sylvia. I think that's really amazing. I think it's the first step for in to build a bridge, you know? I think that's really great. Congratulations. Next question. Have you ever taught a useful skill, an art, or something interesting to a younger person? I choose Andrea. Andrea, here's the question again. Have you ever taught a useful skill, an art, or something interesting to a younger person?
Hello, guys. Good evening, everybody. Yes, I have a daughter. She's 7 years old, and she doesn't like to draw because she thinks she doesn't draw very well. And sometimes we need to do some work for school, and I draw for her. I cut the dolls. I paint. I do everything because I think she doesn't have a good self-esteem. She thinks that she's not good at doing that. So I'm trying to teach her how to do these things with the hands. I'm trying to teach a little bit of art. I'm not very good at it, but I like it. I think we are so stressed nowadays, and I think it's something good to relax. You have to take some time for relaxing and for having fun, and that's what I try to do. I draw with her. We use different colors, and I'm trying to teach her how to draw animals, because she's been taking English classes, and the teacher has been teaching the names of the animals. So I was trying to draw an elephant yesterday, and it was a great experience. So that's my experience with teaching a younger person something about art. I don't know if this is called art, but that's what I teach her.
Thank you, Andrea. That's really nice. And we have time, unfortunately, for only one last question, and here it is.
Yes, just one.
Think of the three most expensive things you have paid for and compare them with the three things you have purchased which gave you the most satisfaction. I will call Atahualpa, please. I will repeat the question. Think of the three most expensive things you have paid for and compare them to the things which you have purchased which gave you the most satisfaction.
All right, Lucas, thank you for your question. First of all, I'm sorry for the technical issues I had here earlier, but I'm back here, I'm listening to your speeches, and I'm learning lots of new expressions and nice things I'm observing here. So, Lucas, questions about, your question was about three things that I paid for that were the most expensive compared to the ones that give me more satisfaction. Actually, I'm not really into buying expensive things. Probably the most expensive thing I bought was my car because I need to go places, to go to different places here in town. But I mean, whenever there's something that, for example, some clothes, trousers, or if I want to buy a backpack, for example, there was a really expensive backpack I bought, but because I was needing it, I needed it, so it was useful for me. But of course, for me, the things that bring me the most satisfaction are the things that are utterly symbolic to me. Not, it isn't about the money or how much it costs, but what it symbolizes to me. So I don't care much about how much I pay for it, but I care about using it and having it as a good souvenir. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Atahualpa, for sharing. I will ask a little bit of how can I say, of tolerance, because I really would like to listen to the answer of one member to the following question.
The last one?
Yes, the last one, I
Oh,
promise.
it can be.
Which are the three strongest attributes of your personality? How do you make the best out of them? Marcelo Hayes, which are the three strongest attributes of your personality? How do you make the best out of them?
Hello, guys. Thank you for asking, Lucas. So, if I can say the three better attributes of my personality, I can say I'm very kindness person. I don't worry for anything. I'm very calm person, and I like to I like to help with others. So I try to join these three characters and to help people in any ways. If some friend has some problem, I talk to them. I speak with them, and we can discuss the questions. And I think that when we are kindness person, and I think the life is easier, and we can help other people. So I try to join these three characters in and use them all of them just together. I think you can when we do that, it's easier to help others and to do a good benefit for a group where we are. So, and I think it's very uttery when we utter that when we use these three characters, we have a uttery of optimizing that. So I try to be myself and doing the good well of those three characters. So that's it. Thank a lot for asking, Lucas.
Thank you, Marcelo. It's really nice to learn a little bit more about yourself. So that's a wrap for the table topics. I am utterly satisfied with everything I've heard, and I thank you very much for sharing. Back to you, Rafa.
Thank you, Lucas. Did you realize that Lucas' questions kind of helping me detox a little bit of my thoughts of all the all the all the deadlines I have. Thank you, Lucas, for your question. It was a great tabletop session. Now let's move on to the timer report of the table topics, because Rio Gringo has some differences from Petromasters, for example. So, Eduardo, can you give us your timer report?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna begin with half, yes. She has the time is 1 minute and 55 seconds, right? Alexander Amond, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Rafa Seixas, 1 minute and 23 seconds. Tatiana Oliveira, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Silvia Felipe, 1 minute and 24 seconds. Andrea, 1 minute and 10 seconds. Ata Atahualpa, did I spell it right?
Atahualpa?
Atahualpa, oh, sorry. 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Marcel Hayes, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Said that no one crossed the red line, the dead red line. So, great states, guys. Back to you, Rafa.
Thank you, Eduardo. Now it's time for us to vote the best tabletop session. Our our God of time, our God of time, Eduardo, has spoken. He said that everyone can participate in the best tabletop poll. So let's send to Lucas the best tabletop speaker in 1 minute, so we can move on in our meeting. 1 minute. You can send it in the private chat here in Zoom.
To who? To Lucas?
The terrible part is that's just one person, right?
Yes,
I can send
just
two
one
names.
person to Lucas. Thank you.
Halftime has passed.
Let's vote, let's vote, let's vote.
Time's out.
Okay, time's up. Lucas, you are not now or in the end of the meeting? Okay, in the end of the meeting. Now let's move on for the prepared speeches session. We have now 3 speakers. I would like to invite the first evaluator of the first speaker to introduce Andrea. I would like to invite Alexander to introduce Andrea.
So Andrea is on the persuasive influence track at Toastmasters, and she's going to do a speech about mentoring. In her speech, she will have to explain how Toastmasters define mentoring, and she will also share with us her previous experience as a protege. Her speech is called Having a Mentor Makes a Difference. Having a mentor makes a difference. Andrea.
Hello. Good evening. I want to present. Can you give me permission for that?
Permission is given.
Okay.
Can I give you, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Andrea. If you are on a computer, you can adjust the division of the screen between Andrea's presentation and Andrea's image with the bar in the middle of the screen. Go ahead, Andrea. Thank you.
In the middle of the screen?
Yes,
Okay.
you see a bar, like a line, which you can shift from left to right to make your image bigger.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Having a mentor makes the difference. The day I graduated in dentistry was the end of a cycle in my life and the beginning of a new cycle, but I didn't know that. I didn't have enough maturity to notice that. After graduating, I went to London and I took some time for relaxing, having fun, learning English, making friends, but I also took some time for reflection because I was 23 years old and I didn't know what I was going to do with my professional life. Most people at this age don't know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And that was what happened to me. Then I decided to come back to Brazil and I decided to study at Piracicaba Dentistry School at Unicamp. It's the only course in Brazil which gives you the title of PhD in oral radiology. I didn't know that experience would change my life utterly, but it really changed my life. I made a lot of friends there, and I still have these friends. They are from different parts of Brazil. This one is from Bahia, Curitiba, Bahia, Pernambuco, Juiz de Fora. These are my parents, and this day was the day I defended my thesis. It was a very nice day and a very memorable day. When I look at these friends, I always remember that song by James Taylor. Do you know it? You've got a friend. I think you know it. You just call out my name and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Do you know this song? And when I think at this time, I always remember my mentor, Solange. She was not just a teacher, she was a real mentor in my life. Guys, do you know what a mentor is? Can anybody tell me what a mentor is? Rafael, Lucas, Alex, do you know what a mentor is?
Mentor is someone who is guiding you in your life, having some influence, trying to make you a better person.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, a mentor, guys, is not only a teacher, it's a person who provides you guidance and support in life. And I wrote here some characteristics of a good mentor. A mentor must be a good listener. A mentor must inspire, and it's so difficult to find someone in life who inspires us. A mentor must be flexible, value diversity of perspectives, must be knowledgeable, non-judgmental, must be able to give constructive feedback. A mentor, guys, must be honest, be able to network and find resources. And especially a mentor must devote time to develop the others. And it's so difficult to find a real mentor in life. Guys, have you ever had a mentor, a real mentor in your lives? Ada, Lucas, have you ever had a mentor in life? Does anybody want to talk to me about that?
Yes, I can tell that I have great mentors, and the majority of them are deaf because I have them in books. And for me, the books are the best mentors of the lower cost that you ever had in your life.
That's good. Thanks a lot. Well, when I think about mentors, I always remember this movie, That Poets Society. I think you have already watched it. Robin Williams was an English teacher, but he was not only a teacher, he was a mentor, a real mentor. He encouraged the students to go against the status quo. He made their lives extraordinary and he inspired his students. He was not a teacher, he was a mentor. I think everybody remembers this scene when all the students stood up on their desks and they said, "Captain, oh my captain." That is, mentor, oh my mentor. That was an extraordinary movie. Talking about my thesis, and my mentor, Solange, she helped me a lot. She gave me guidance and support because I decided to work with something very different from oral radiology. I worked with mice and I had to remove their parotid glands after irradiating them. So the objective of my thesis was to discover the effects of X radiation on their parotid gland, and it was really hard. She was a really good mentor and helped me a lot. Nowadays, I'm also a teacher, and I try to be a mentor to my students. This is Daniele. This day, she was presenting her final paper, and I tried to encourage her to be a model, to inspire her, to give her support and confidence. And this one is another student of mine, Yasmin. This day, she was also presenting her final paper, and I tried to be a mentor in her life because I know, guys, from the bottom of my heart, that a mentor always makes the difference. Having a mentor always makes the difference. Back to you, Toastmaster. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Andrea. What a great speech. It was so great. Thank you. Guys, 1 minute for the feedback here in the chat, in the Zoom. You can send to Andrea what did you like, what could go better in her speech. Let's help Andrea to achieve even better speeches that she delivered to us today. Thank you. 1 minute, please, Eduardo.
Andrea, I had problems with the internet, so I could not watch all your presentation. But I think it was for me because, I'm finishing my thesis, and sometimes it's very difficult without a mentor, or if we have disagreements with our mentor, it's very difficult. It's a very good philosophy and a very good team. I was utterly touched by your choice of team.
And I'd like to apologize because lots of people were trying to enter the meeting And I don't know why this was appearing in my computer here.
I didn't know it would cause this problem. It was a problem here in my house. The internet finished abruptly, but I didn't. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't expect
No
the.
problem. Other people tried to enter, but I didn't know that I was supposed to admit them.
Time is over.
Okay, time's up. Let's finish sending our feedbacks to Andrea. I had great manners in my life, and this is what Toastmasters is about, to help members to achieve their goals. Thank you for your speech, Andrea. Now I would like to call our second evaluator, Ashley, to introduce Tatiana's speech. Back to you, Ashley.
Good evening, everyone. Now I'd like to introduce Tatiana. Tatiana is on the path of innovative planning, researching, and presenting. Tatiana needs to research and present an unfamiliar topic, organize speech clearly to maximize the audience understanding, craft a clear and engaging transitions between main sections of her speech. And so, Tatiana, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, everyone. A friend always helps. When I say that today, I'm not speaking about humans. I'm speaking about animals. Do you have a dog, a cat, a fish, or a bird? Because of the quarantine, some people are feeling the loneliness and decided to adopt a pet. According to the Institute Pet Brazil, the population of dogs and cats housed in non-governmental organizations (NGOs) is around 172,000. 96% of these animals are dogs. It means 165,000, and the other 4% are cats. Generally, these places can house from 50 to 500 animals. Outside this framework, there are almost 3.9 million animals in vulnerable conditions. Those who live with very impoverished families or who live on the streets. The southeast region in Brazil has the most animal in these conditions, in this situation, with more than 78,000. It's utterly sad. Grace Hans from the Institute Adopt and Meow says the adoption rise at more than 50% in the last months. It's a very good thing. With the quarantine, when the people are at their house, it's easier to accommodate the animal in their house routine. On the other hand, it has been noticed that some animals are being abandoned because some people believe that they can transmit the coronavirus. It's insane, it's unnerving. According to the specialists, the transmission of the new coronavirus by animals are not proven. If you decided to adopt a pet, it's very important that this adoption be responsible. To do this, you should be approved in some steps. The NGOs will make an interview with you. It is the first step. They will answer you, how is your house and your financial conditions? How much is your available time? If you will be approved in this first step, you will follow to the most important step, the visual contact. The visual contact is very important. When the animal looks at its future owner, we can feel whether he will be happy or not. This connection is the strongest link to define adoption, says Luana Rizzo from the Institute Pet Brazil. It's so cute. It's certainly cute. But what about when the quarantine finish? The animals will be abandoned. The animals protectors are very worried about it. I hope not, because animals can make you feel loved, happy, and make your house a fun environment. So love the animals, take care of the animals. They are friends have sorry, a friend always help you. Thank you very much. Back to you, Lucas.
Thank you, Tati. Let's take care of ourselves and also about the animals. I read in some news that near just after Christmas and New Year's Eve, there is a lot of animals that were adopted that are are given back to shelters. It's sad because people give them to the children, but they are not willing to take care of the animals because it takes time, it takes money. So let's be responsible about our decisions. Thank you, Tatiana, for your speech. 1 minute for Tatiana's feedback.
Done.
1 minute has passed. Everyone, let's finish the Tatiana's feedback when I will introduce the first speaker of the evening. He is a very special guest to us and especially to Lucas. Dr. Fernando Patinho is a family doctor and a hematologist, oncologist, practicing for almost 4 years. It's a lot of time. He's an experienced doctor. In the last 25 years, he's practicing in Bolivia, right next to us. I would like to invite our third speaker, Fernando, with the title Early Death Prevention in Men. Early Death Prevention in Men. Fernando.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to this talk. As you heard, I'm a family doctor, and it seems unusual. As an oncologist, I like to focus on preventive medicine and promotion of health. I think this is the most important way of practicing medicine. So may I have my first slide, please? I think Lucas is handling the presentation with the PowerPoint, and I think that's good. This is my first slide. And what I'd like to point out here is that early death prevention sounds like a hard thing to do. Talking about death is hard, but actually when you think about prevention, that's a good thing, a good way of practicing medicine. So what I like to point out here is that the most common causes of early death in men are three causes. Number one, cardiovascular attack. That means that you can have a heart attack or a brain attack. And those are most common causes of death. And if you don't die from one of those accidents, you can be severely ill and disabled. The second most common cause of death in young men is cancer. Still, that's not a very preventable cause of death, but we can do early diagnosis, and we're going to talk more about that soon. Finally, most people don't realize that accident and violence can be a very frequent cause of death, and that can be prevented. Can we have the next slide, please? So, what I'd like to show you, and you have to remind this, that for cardiovascular attack, there are several risk factors that we can work on to prevent that from happening. Obesity is considered the most important and significant cause of heart attack. Something, I don't know what happened with the presentation. I missed the, I'm not seeing the screen anymore, but I'll go back. So I was talking about obesity being the most important risk factor for heart attack and cerebral vascular accident. Then comes hypertension, high cholesterol, and low exercise and lifestyle. When we talk about lifestyle, we have to acknowledge that smoking is one of the most important risk factors to get a cardiovascular accident. And those are all preventable causes of an accident. Plus, there's something that's very important in our lives, but we cannot change that, is that family history can be a significant risk factor for having heart attack, for instance. Those people who have some members in their families who have had a heart attack are more likely to die from a heart attack as well. So they should focus their lifestyle and what they can do to prevent that from happening early in life. Eventually that's going to happen, but it may happen after you're 85, 90 years old. That's not a problem. But if it happens when you're 50 years old, when you're in the middle of the best part of your professional career, that should not be happening. And that's what we have to work on, preventing that kind of accident. Well, the other thing, cause of death in men can be cancer. And there are three types of cancer which are very common. Of course, preventing cancer is not that easy to talk about, except when we talk about lung cancer, because we know that smoking and lifestyle can be a significant risk factor to be avoided and to prevent lung cancer from happening. However, when we talk about prostate cancer, there's nothing we can actually do to prevent prostate cancer from happening. But we can prevent dying from prostate cancer if you do early diagnosis in prostate cancer. And you're preventing death from prostate cancer. And in that case, the family history is the most important factor. And another thing that we can do about it is do a regular screening, either with a clinical examination and the PSA testing. That should be done after you're 50-years-old. I realize most of the audience here with us today are young men. So you have to start thinking about this. This is going to happen. Probably you have to start working on this within 20 or 15 years from now. So those things we're learning about, okay? And the other type of cancer, which is very common in men and very frequently causes early death in men, is colon cancer. And that type of cancer can be prevented by diet, exercising, and preventing obesity. And of course, the family history is another risk factor for colon cancer, and that cannot be modified. We can modify lifestyle and several factors on your diet, but we cannot change the family history. But altogether, those factors we have to think about, and if we cannot prevent cancer from happening, we have to work on early diagnosis to prevent that. This is the important thing to learn. Finally, most people don't realize how frequently young men die from accidents and violence. And that can happen in several ways. An accident can happen because of high-speed driving or drinking and driving, and that can be prevented. And if we prevent that, we're preventing deaths, early deaths especially. We also have to acknowledge that shooting and violence is still a very, very common cause of death in young men. And we have to prevent that. And the only way we can do that is based on education of the patients. Finally, drugs and alcohol are probably the most common causes of violent death in young men. And that can be prevented. And the best way to prevent that is on education. So we can move. I don't know if you can see the slides I'm talking about. I can see Rolf is in front of me, but I don't see my presentation. I hope you guys are following what I'm talking about. And anyhow, probably Lucas can share with you later the Well, I want to point out that education is the most important factor in preventing early. You can educate people about the risk factors on cardiovascular accidents, risk factors on cancer, the most common causes of cancer, which are prostate cancer, lung cancer, and colon cancer for men. Women, they have a little different story. This is not the subject for today. We have to learn that lifestyle can modify the risk of dying early from any of the causes mentioned before. And finally, the most important thing you have to do along your life is that seeing your family doctor. And I hope you find a doctor who would like to spend the time talking about risk factors and things that we can do to modify our lifestyle, to improve our health, or if we cannot prevent things from happening, at least we should be able to early diagnose earlier those causes of cancer that can be cured if the cancer is found very early in time. Finally, I would like to say something that there was a question earlier in this talk that Lucas was asking, what would be the most valuable thing that you can buy or you can spend money on? And I think the most important thing is to spend on education. Doesn't matter how much you spend, but that is the most valuable thing along your life. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Fernando. It was a great speech. I learned a lot, and now let's give Fernando some feedback in the chat in the Zoom. We can give him a private feedback in the private chat here. And as we give feedback to Fernando, there was like 2 years ago in Petrobras. There is a lot of workers, almost 5,000 workers, Fernando. And there was a doctor from the how can I say, from the security, a security doctor from the employees. He was talking exactly what you talk about. We have to be aware about our risk factors, and we have to have a good lifestyle, you have to educate more, to be aware, to go to the doctor, not just to fix some disease, but to prevent a greater evil. Thank you so much for your speech. It seems great to the Blue November theme. Lucas, we will have we have a best speaker. Oh no, okay.
Time is over. Time is over.
Time's up. Let's move on to the feedback part of the meeting. It's time to call the evaluators to provide the evaluations of the speeches. And I will not call the evaluators. Marcelo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Are you seeing the meeting agenda? Be aware that I'm counting you to invite the evaluators to evaluate the speeches.
Okay.
Okay?
So the first one we are going to call Alexandre to do the evaluation. Alexandre, the word is with you.
Thank you. So Andrea gave us a speech about mentoring. The speech was entitled Having a Mentors Make the Difference. I think it was a really great speech. I really loved all the anecdotes she told us. She started her speech and ended her speech with a really impactful phrase. I don't know if you remember, but she started her speech with, "It's a pleasure to be here with you guys." And she ended it with, "Having a mentor always makes a difference." And I even remember the ending, even though she's done her speech like half an hour ago. So I think that was really, really great thing to do, to start with energy and to end it with a catchphrase. Speaking of energy, I think Andrea's voice was full of energy that enabled her to connect a lot with the audience. Personally, I had no problem understanding her and connecting with her. It was really great. And she seems really comfortable on stage, guys. She even sung on stage. I mean, I wouldn't do that personally. I would be too shy to do that, but congratulations, you seem really, really comfortable. Another thing I really liked also about your speech is that you called out to the audience and you even insisted you pick some name until someone actually answered you. And I didn't feel any discomfort from the audience. It was really, really well done. You just kept with the flow and eventually someone answered you and you kept interacting with that person. So I think it was really great. It wasn't an easy thing to do and you did it perfect. Now go to the point that you could maybe improve. There was a slide that you showed us about qualities that the mentor should have. I think that slide was really heavy. It was like 20 qualities. And to add to that, you didn't really share with us how was your experience as a protege, which was the objective of your speech. You just said, having a mentor really helped me. Maybe you could have selected quite a few qualities and explain us how your mentor actually demonstrated those qualities, that she had those qualities. Maybe that would have we would have known a bit more about your experience, about your personal experience. Another point is when you talked about a movie, do not assume that everyone has seen the movie. You said at some point, I think everyone remembers this scene. I've personally not seen the movie. I know it's a classic, I must seen it, but personally I've never seen it. So that was just 2 comments. To challenge you for your next speech, I think you could try to add some real pauses on your speech to give some time for you to just process the information and to add some dramatic effect to your speech. And I've selected 2 examples. At one point you said, I didn't know what to do with my life. Then I decided you could have had some pauses here. I didn't know what to do with my life. Then I decided. Another example is when you said, it was a memorable day. When I look back at this day, if you had a pause, it would look something like, it was a memorable day. When I look back at this day, I think you see, you could add some pauses and maybe add some rhythm to the speech. It was a really great speech, Andrea. I'm really looking forward to the next one, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
So now we are going to call the second one, evaluator of the day, Ashley. It's the second one that will evaluate the speech of Tatiana. Ashley, the word is with you.
Animals are our friends. Tatiana spoke the utter truth. Having a pet is like having a best friend. I was utterly astonished by how relaxed Tatiana was during her speech. It was evident that she was passionate and she researched this topic very well. She used numbers, which showed that she knew her audience, being that most of the persons or the audience here are engineers, I assume. And she used the numbers because they always say engineers like numbers. Um, and other than numbers, she even showed where she got the numbers. She showed her sources, and she was very organized during the speech. I would like to see Tatiana use an initial statement that was more of an attention catcher. For example, she said the phrase, 3.9 million animals are in vulnerable conditions. I would love for you to start the speech with that, or something more that gets the attention of your audience, like 3.9 million. And they'll be asking, what about this number? And they'll be like, 3.9 million animals are in vulnerable conditions. I wish Tatiana also had more eye contact with the camera, because eye contact always creates a good intimacy with your audience. Therefore, their attention will be focused on you. I felt that a title was a bit incomplete. Your title was "A Friend Always Help." Help what? Help who? My suggestion would be "A Friend Who Always Helps." It could be that. Tatiana used excellent facial expressions, and she used the current situation with the coronavirus. So that helped the audience to relate to what her speech, to understand what's going on. And her speech was very clearly articulated and very informative. So everyone surely would take away that adopting animals is something that is serious and should be considered. And animals really are our friends. The word back to you, Marcelo.
Thank you very much, Ashley, for your evaluation. So I give the word to Rafael.
Thank you, Marcelo. And Lucas, he got some special guests today. And we will not have the further evaluator to Fernand's speech. We will have actually a short special speech from, I forgot his name, from Loildo. He is a Brazilian literature teacher, and also an English teacher, just as Atahualpa. I would like to invite our special guest, Loildo, to give us some word. You are muted.
Is it okay? Is it working? Can I get started? So I'm pretty sure that most of you have already thought about what being a man is. Most of you probably haven't got to any conclusions like many of us men. Well, the point is, whatever you think a man is, you may fall into two categories. One, you're going to be traditional or conservative. Then you might believe that being a man is linked to biology or to your body, or that you were born a man. So it will also relate it to the body posture you have and to the language. Then you may think that expressing your body or your language and vocabulary in a way that sounds like a macho man and the cliche type, then you might be a man. That would be one perspective of that. Well, that also leads to some sorts of movements or social groups that have recently been created. One of them is called the incels, the other, the MGTOW. Well, they tend to lean on that belief that being a man is contrary to progressive thoughts or to liberal ideas. So that's one perspective. On the other hand, if you think about it, you might fall into the category of liberal or progressive. Then you may think that being a man is up to debate. It's not something born uh, you were born with. It's something you construct. So it's socially constructed and it's progressive in the sense of time. You become a man. So once you realize that, you might start doing something that we could call deconstruction, because if you follow the first category, you believe that you must follow certain codes or thought patterns and behavioral patterns to be a man. But then if you want to deconstruct this idea, you might have, or you might have to face yourself or go through a lot of conflicts. And that's hard, that's painful. So it takes a man to do that, whatever a man is. So you have to face yourself, your shadows, your own conflicting ideas about yourself and the world. And then you might not even come to a conclusion, to a final conclusion, but you're going to have to face preconceived and maybe even toxic notions of what being a man is. So that could be detrimental to your health, but it's a path. Once you have begun, you must follow through, because not being yourself, whatever you are, being a man or a woman, not being yourself is not healthy. But believing that this would lead us to a positive path, or thinking that this path is necessarily positive, could be downright naive, because it's just a beginning. It doesn't mean that we're going to get there. We're going to become what we mean to become, or we're going to access our essence or our truths within ourselves. However, there's something else. This question of what being a man is and the idea of deconstruction is something pretty much related to the middle classes. So a lot of poor people in lower classes don't even think about it, especially because they're concerned about more urgent issues such as food and housing. So maybe we should think about that. Maybe we're part of an elite. How could we get out of that? How could we reach out to other men who haven't had the opportunity to do that? So maybe we should get out of our bubbles and talk to other men about their preconceived notions, our own preconceived notions, and then together collectively, we can become healthier men. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Luiz. Let's keep healthy, also in our minds, not just our body. Great speech. I like very much. It has also a dose of philosophy there. It's great, great. And now I would like to call the reports. I would like to call Eduardo. I jumped in the prepared speeches. Can you give us the time report of the speeches and evaluations, Eduardo?
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna first tell the time of the speeches. Let me see here. All right, the first speaker is Andrea Domingos. The time was 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Thalita Oliveira, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. He didn't reach the minimum time that is the green light. And the last one, Fernando Patino, it was 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Had passed the red line. And so only Andrea Domingo was on the right time between the minimum and below the maximum time. And let me see the evaluators. Here we have the first one, Alexander Amon, that 3 minutes and 31 seconds. He passed the time. Ashley, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And that's it. Back to you.
Thank you, Eduardo. And now I would like to invite the counters, Sylvia. Can you give us your report?
I surely can, Mr. Seixas. Thank you all for the speeches today. I had no hard work today because you really nailed it. But I will report what I noticed today. And I almost got non-feeling words, but some repeated sentence that I will report as follows. I will start with the table topics. Half repeated like help him, or to do, and this feeling word, to do a doctor. Alex repeated and twice, and for Mother's Day. Rafa Seixas and Tatiana Oliveira, it's an excellent experience. Andrea, I think it's good. Atahualpa, the most. Marcelo Reis, I like two. So, and then we have for the prepared speech, Andrea did a great job. And I couldn't notice any feeling words of, or if it had, it was very subtle. So I have nothing to say here. Tatiana said adopted twice. And then this feeling word, a friend always helping. For the first evaluator, Alex said quite few qualities while moving to one sentence to another. Ashley said something that gets our attention. And finally, Loyudo, he said something like many of us and born with. And that's it. Back to you, Mr. Toastmasters. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sylvia, for the good report. And also, I would like to invite our grammarian, Atahualpa. How can you give us your report?
Sure can. Thank you very much, Rafael. So I learned a lot today. For me, the good thing of listening to the speeches is that we can learn from the others, from the way that other people speak. We can learn different words, different structures for forming the sentences. So it's a learning experience to listen to how the others speak. So we broaden our vocabulary. I learned some nice vocabulary here, like for example, with Sylvia saying, as of this day, which is a nice time expression, meaning starting today or starting at this day, as of this day. You nailed it. Nice expression as well. Lucas shared his feelings by saying the heartfelt, right? So there are these expressions that combine these ideas about things that come from the emotions. Like, for example, in Andrea's speech, from the bottom of my heart. So whenever we use this kind of expressions, it helps to convey the message, right? Because whenever you say from the bottom of my heart, you establish an emotional link with the topic you're presenting. I liked also Tatiana saying using weather as a synonym for if, as a conditional weather. Dr. Fernando's speech was surely a masterclass for all of us, and I liked to see the word formation there. So he was talking about ways to prevent, and then the preventive attitudes you could have for the prevention, and the preventable attitudes you could have. So you can learn a lot in the way you express by paying attention to word formation. And also I like that Loildo's speech, the use of the linkers, which is something that was kind of missing in the other speeches. For example, the use of on the other hand, however, right? So there are these really simple words that link one idea to the other. Some general mistakes that I noticed where you have room to improve is, for example, paying attention to the use of plural. There are, that, those. So you need to pay attention there when you have a plural. Also, there were some minor mistakes about the use of the past. Like, for example, instead of saying find, should be used found, choose, chose in the past. And there were also some difficulties I had to understand the pronunciation in words like kind, characteristics, which is a synonym for features. Characteristics is difficult, right? So you can use features, for example, as a synonym. Abandoned, vulnerable, financial, environment, subtle, and also in terms of grammar, there was, for example, the use of the third person of singular. For example, a friend always helps, right? I help, the friend helps. The same with the animal. The animal looks at you. So the use of the S in the third person, right? Other than that, thank you very much. I learned a lot from you, and I'm sure you're gonna nail it the next time as well. Thank you. And the people who used utterly were Rafael, Silvia, Lucas, Marcelo, Andrea, Ada, Cecilia, Tatiana, and Ashley. Ashley actually used utter and utterly, both forms, using this expression utterly. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Back to you, Rafael.
Thank you, Opa. A very broad report. And now I would like to invite the last report of the evening. Our general evaluator will be Marcelo Reis. Marcelo Reis.
Hi guys, today I'm in the role of general evaluator. This function is utterly special because I'm going to be responsible for evaluating our meeting. I'm going to do my evaluation based on my observations during the meeting. Firstly, I would like to congratulations everyone for the meeting. It was amazing. I felt very enthusiastic in the meeting, and we had a good topics, especially about the health topic, which we learned many important things. In general, we had a good use of English, and we learned a good expressions in English. But we have some points that we have to pay attention. We should look more to the camera and that and and we should be more attention with the agenda of the meeting. So now I'm going to do a small evaluation about the evaluators and the functions. Both evaluators use the sandwich technique to evaluate the speakers. It's a good technique to evaluate. This technique consists about say good and negative points and after suggesting some challenge. Evaluator Alexandre, a good introduction about the speaker, clearly English, easy to listen, good use of English, and in my opinion, you should look more to the camera to improve the contact. Actually, a good introduction of the speaker, good contact camera, clear speech, good, and very use of English. And finally, the time a well done job, control the time very well, the grammar, good choice of words, and great use of English, and good explications about the use of English. The topic table, I would like to congratulate Lucas about he about he spoke very well and communicated the message very clearly. And I'd like to congratulation to Fernando and Loildo about the speaking and communicate and for communicating very well their messages and teachings. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for the the report. Back to the Rafael.
Thank you, Marcelo. And now, it's time to end the meeting. It's been a pleasure to be the Toastmaster of the evening. I learned a lot today. I learned from Fernando, from Loildo, from Lucas, from every one of you that filled the meeting roles today. Thank you for the ones that could be with us, for to everyone from Petromasters and the special guests and people from in the members from Rio Gringo. It's been a great meeting. I I will I would like to give the stage to Lucas so he can end the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Nice meeting.
Thank you very much, Rafa. It's always a pleasure to have you guys over at our club. And this partnership, I hope it can continue for new exciting meetings. I thank my special guests for their contributions to our health. I think this is the education we receive here from you guys can help not only ourselves, but we can share this information with the people we love, the people we care about, and that's, I think, the best way for us to get healthier as a community and as a society. I'd like to thank all of the volunteers who served roles. I see Rafa is has good company, four-legged, a furry company. I love dogs personally. I really enjoy them, their company. And I invite you all to come to our next meeting, which will be on December 9th. It will be also a very special meeting. We'll have a special guest who will help us polish our English. So his speech will be about the most common mistakes us Brazilians make when we speak in English. So please contact Alex or Andrea for more information. You can, once you have registered for this meeting, you will receive the invitation. The link you use this time will also work for December 9th. So no need to register again, just use the same link. And I apologize for these few minutes we did over time in our agenda, but I think it was worth it, and I appreciate your tolerance with our time. See you next time. Have a good night. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Photo.
Sylvia, can you
Here you
help
go,
me with
guys.
the photo, please?
Take a photo.
Tachi.
Office back for the picture, huh?
See you guys on December 9th.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks a lot.
One last thing. This meeting was recorded. This meeting was recorded, and I will share with Rafa so he can share with Petromasters, and we'll share it to our group. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah,
Thanks a
sure.
lot. Bye.